Yo, 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 what is up, guys? And welcome back to ATV Farms, episode 157. But American Farming, episode 1 of the 1980s farming series on Wisconsin. So the series name is going to be 1980s Farming. But we're on the Wisconsin map. So, without further ado, I purchased an old grain operation off of a guy who wanted to get out of farming back when I was still living in North Carolina. He got a hold of me and asked, he's seen that I was looking to start farming, so he got a hold of me and said he wanted to get out of farming and told me that I could take over the operation for only $30,000, for only $14,000. So, I took the deal for the $14,000 farm purchase, and he said it came equipped with all the equipment, 2 fields, and probably 80,000 bushels of storage space between 3 grain bins. So, without further ado, let's get out to the farm and see what we're working with. Now, that's the backstory to the 1980s farming series. So, right here is my 1980, because we're starting right at 1980. So, right here is a 1980 Ford F-150 single cab with a toolbox. So, let's get down to the farm and see what we have to work with. Now, I have no idea where this farm... That kind of scared me. I thought we were in February instead of January. So, we're starting this series off with $2,150 even. So, I have no idea where this farm is even at, so let's get moving. We'll have to use GPS. I'll let you guys hear the game volume a little bit better. I'll probably have to turn that back down just a tad bit, because that way you guys can hear equal between the game volume and my voice. So, we're currently on our way out to the farm, and I believe it is just me running the farm. I don't think I have any buddies coming to help me on this series. So, everything that we do is going to be done in the first person. Just like we're doing right now. I've got the GPS running the truck. Well, I'm driving, but I've got GPS going, guiding me back to the farm, because I have no idea where this place is even at. I've never been here before. So, let's get down there and see what we're working with. Now, he said he owns 2 fields. So, whether they are ready to... Oh, okay, it looks like we're here. I did not expect that turn right away. Holy cow. Whoa, he wasn't kidding when he said he has 1 field that's ready to go. I believe that is oats, but I'm not for sure. So, first, this episode will be a farm and equipment tour. So, we're going to park the truck here at the house. We'll start with the house and work our way around. But first, like I said, 1980 Ford F-150 with a toolbox for maintenance purposes. So we'll start with the house, which is up here. The house, I believe he said, was built in 1941. No, The house was built in 1914, right before World War I. He built the house with his own two hands right before he went off to fight in World War I. So, his family has owned this property for over 100 years. His great-grandfather started the farm in 1814, right after he got back from helping Colonel Jackson defeat the British for the second time. He came back and decided, let's start farming. So, actually, I think it was his great-grandfather that built the house. So the house was built in 1814, 100 years before this guy started farming. So, his great-grandfather started farming in 1814, right after he got back from helping fight the British. He farmed from 1814 when he was 18, and then he retired at the age of 85 in 1913. So, that's when his great-grandson decided to take over the operation in 1913. Farmed from 1913 to 1914, where then when he got drafted into the military to go fight in World War I, his son took over the operation, and then his dad came back from the war in 1945 and regained control of the operation, and then farmed it from 1945 to 1980 when we're taking over the operation because he wanted to get out of farming. His son got out in 1945 when he got back, but he still wanted to farm. So, he decided to farm from 1945 to 1980 when we're taking over the operation. So the house was built in 1814 by his great-grandfather. Now, the garage here was built by the son in 1943. So, house was built in 1814. Garage was built in 1943. And then we have the big machine shed, which I don't really know when this was built because there is record of it, but I don't want to dig through my truck to try to find it. Just kidding. I know exactly when this shed was built. So it's a big 50 by 150 machine shed that was built in 1935 by the guy that we bought the farm off of. So the house So the house was built in 1814. The garage was built in 1943. And then this building was built in 1935. So now we're going to move on down to what's right next to the garage, which is an old hog barn that was built in 1905 that used to house 45 hogs. The family would buy the hogs from the market right after they were weaned off of their mothers and raise them until they were slaughtered. So, old 1905 hog barn. And then, where are these two? And then right here we have one of the soak-up grain bins. This bin was put in 1965. So this bin's only 15 years old. Now, the one that's right next to it was put in just a year. So this one here was put in 1965. This one was put in 1964. So we've got a 1965 Souk-Up grain bin and a 1964 AGCO grain bin. I don't know why one's a Souk-Up and one's an AGCO, but I think all the bins are different brands. I know this part of the grain leg is an AGCO, and it was put in 1975. So this grain leg is pretty darn brand new. The dryer was put in just last year, so the dryer is the newest thing on the operation. Now, this bin right here that we're currently looking at was put in 5 years ago. So in 1975. And it's an AGCO, I believe. The dryer is a Souk-Up, and so is the unloading grain leg. Now, the bin on the far side is another AGCO bin. This was put in just last year in 1979. And then the bin on the other side is another Souk-Up that was put in 1978. So we've got a lot of different years on the grain system and all of that. So the next thing we're going to talk about is this old corn crib. This old corn crib was used by his grandfather, or by his great-grandfather, from 1814 to 1865, when he decided to put the corn crib out of service when he got out of doing corn and decided to go into doing wheat, oats, and soybeans, hinting to the reason why I think there is still a field of oats that need harvested over there right behind the corn crib. Now, right here, right across from the corn crib, we have a 1969 Quonset storage shed that I believe is empty from what the guy had told me. We will check that out here in a minute. So there's one more thing we have to talk about before we move on to equipment. Actually, I'm going to save equipment for the next episode. We're just going to talk about the buildings and the farm layout this episode. So there's one more shed that we need to talk about, which is right here. It's an old 1913 3-bay lean-to that the guy put up so he could store just as what you see. I think a seed drill, a disc, and a fertilizer spreader. So 1913 lean-to storage shed. So I believe that's everything on the operation. So I will see you guys in ATV Farms episode 158. Either real life farming for the FFA canal cleanup or American farming episode 2 of 1980s farming. So I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you guys want to see with the 1980s farming series. Oh, and before I forget, this is the plots that we own. right here. A little Dorito-shaped field. Field 2, which has nothing in it. So field 2 is an empty field with no crops. Now, field 9, on the other hand, is 7 acres. So we run 7 acres. We own 10 acres of land. So we own a 7-acre plot of land and a 3-acre plot of land. Now, the 7-acre plot of land has, I called it, oats. So probably in March, either February or March, we will harvest those oats. I haven't really, probably March. Yeah, March we'll harvest the oats and then re-drill the field to probably soybeans or wheat. Yeah, that's what we'll do. 1 field of soybeans and 1 field of wheat. So that's all that's what we own land-wise. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope y'all enjoy.